what did I always tell you? Breakfast is a big boy's most important meal of the day.
What would you do without your favorite breakfast items from McDonald's? You might know the breakfast menu inside out, and that you're the one to see when it comes to McSandwich recommendations. You might want to stick around for the top 10 untold truths of McDonald's breakfast, Part 2. All-day breakfast is no more.
Sorry, sir, we stopped serving breakfast.
It's no secret that one of the best things about McDonald's is the fact that you can get breakfast wherever you are, whenever you want. But ever since our little pandemic friend decided to join the party, things have been a little, well, different.
A new disease. No one's immune.
Sadly, the world had to say goodbye to the beloved and esteemed all-day breakfast. I know, dark and sad times for every avid McDonald's lover. The dreaded 10:30 a.m. curfew is back as the Golden Arches announce the retirement of the cherished all-day breakfast, which understandably caused a lot of backlash, especially on the internet. A sea of people were going nuts over this unfortunate news and were expressing the anguish felt by so many. McDonald's explained that even though this decision was very heartbreaking to make, they had to make a sacrifice to simplify the operations in the kitchen due to the lack of employees and the increase in orders. So from now on, you better set your alarm clock early if you want to enjoy that Egg McMuffin.
I believe I can bring him back.
Some locations still have the all-day breakfast, sort of.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
If you happen to live in the sunny, magical state of Florida, all hope might not be lost for your all-day breakfast addiction. No, this isn't a prank just to mess with your feelings. It's happening. Some rogue McDonald's franchises are going against the system and continue to serve the all-day breakfast we all treasure.
I am really confused here.
About 20 locations have bucked the trend. It's not like they're breaking the law or anything, but they aren't allowed to do any sort of advertising or put up any type of signage indicating that breakfast is still being served, even at 10 p.m. It's kind of like a secret menu. You need to ask to get it. It's all hush-hush, and only a handful of people know. A perfect example of word-of-mouth marketing, basically. Pretty soon, you have a whole community marching down to their local McDonald's hoping to score some late Sunday brunch. An employee explained that contrary to what others have said, some breakfast items are actually not that hard to make during the day and aren't as time-consuming as McDonald's has led people to believe. So while it's not every item that can still be made all day, it's still better than nothing at all.
You're right.
3 new sweets added.
3? Really?
While breakfast bid farewell to its all-day feature, McDonald's still heard your prayers and came up with what could possibly be the next best thing: new pastries.
What the hell are you talking about?
And not just any pastries, the kind that goes ridiculously well with your morning coffee or your afternoon latte. An apple fritter, a blueberry muffin, and a cinnamon roll are all now officially part of the chain's menu, and these are all available every minute of every day. Well, if there's any left, of course. They do sell like hotcakes, you know. It's as if the pastries were put there to diffuse the tension caused by the loss of the all-day breakfast and were sent to save the day. How else do you explain McDonald's not coming up with new pastries in almost a decade? Until now. No, they know what they're doing, trying to fill the void created by the departure of our beloved late-night hash browns. And honestly, it's kind of working. The company even went as far as giving away a free pastry when you placed an order on the app for an iced or hot coffee at the beginning of November. Now, it's no McGriddle, but it's still a pretty enticing offer.
That's all you've got?
Nothing could ever replace the iconic breakfast menu, but at least you now have sweet and breakfast-ish items to fill your stomach when you're running late for work. It's a breakfast roll.
Ja, wie dansa?
Kan je dat?
Gertlush.
Hey.
If you need a little motivation to get out of bed these days, or if you're still searching for that perfect breakfast that's going to keep you happy for the rest of the day, then this new McDonald's breakfast item from the UK menu might just be the one you've been looking for. On the menu since October of this year, the breakfast roll has driven people bananas. Already kicking it on Irish McDonald's menus for a while, the UK decided it was time to try it out and see what the fuss was all about. Soft white rolls filled with back bacon, a delicious fabled McDonald's sausage patty, freshly cracked egg, cheese, all served with your choice of ketchup or brown sauce? How can we get our own local McD's to start offering these? For the equivalent of just over $2, the lucky people in the UK can indulge in this tasty, out-of-this-world treat of a sandwich. If you're really that sad that you can't enjoy one, mostly because traveling is a bit of a hazard lately, worry not. You can always try to recreate this one at home, or even customize your regular McMuffin to make it look like this breakfast roll perfection.
That's not possible.
It can be hacked, like a lot.
Surprise!
There are many ways to make your breakfast experience more than just ordinary at McDonald's. Yes, you've got your classics like the McMuffin or the hash browns or even the hotcakes, and some of the lesser-known but still delicious options like their oatmeal, the biscuits, and the McGriddles, all guaranteed to make your stomach say thank you. But what most people don't know is that there are also many ways to hack the breakfast menu and go beyond the traditional to make it even more exquisite. For starters, you know the delicious griddle cakes used on the McGriddles? Well, you can actually order those as a side order and get that fluffy, sweet taste solo. This is also a perfect way to recreate this iconic breakfast sandwich at home. All you need now is the cheese, and the bacon, and the egg. Anyway, you get the point. Speaking of eggs, you can ditch that weird-looking folded egg they put on some of the sandwiches and ask for a round, fresh egg. You can thank us later.
Thank you.
And finally, the best but now mostly useless hack of all since all-day breakfast has vacated from our lives, you can ask to add an egg to any sandwich you wanted to create your very own McBrunch. Be a free spirit.
Give me your hand.
Breakfast Happy Meal was a thing.
You ate breakfast, yes? Breakfast is most important meal of day.
As part of the promotion for the once extremely successful all-day breakfast, McDonald's came up with a brand new idea that was tested in one city only, Tulsa, Oklahoma, back in 2016, the Breakfast Happy Meal. Even though breakfast isn't generally the happiest meal of the day for children, McD's figured that, with a toy, everything is better. Kids could choose between 2 McGriddles or an egg and cheese McMuffin without the bacon. Why no bacon, though? They can also choose sides like yogurt, apple slices, or in some locations, hash browns. And if your child was getting one during lunch hour, he could get it with fries. An order of McGriddles with fries? That's like two worlds colliding. And of course, they would get the classic little toy, because what's better than a nice new shiny plaything to start your day? McDonald's said if the experiment were successful, it would branch out to every other location and become part of the official menu. Sadly, though, the experiment was short-lived, and the breakfast Happy Meals never made their way to the hearts and stomachs of any other kid outside Tulsa. Except for the hotcakes Happy Meal, however, that one stuck.
Pancakes. I love.
So yeah, there's still some sort of breakfast option, but kids can no longer get it all day. They're going to have to get up early with the rest of us in order to get one. No more sleeping in.
Okay, is everybody clear on that?
Yes, ma'am.
McPlant will be a McThing in 2021.
Meat or potatoes?
With the epic and monumental flop of the Beyond Meat trial in Canada, all hope seemed lost for new plant-based menu items at Mickey D's, especially since the whole thing ended pretty quietly and with no explanation, leaving no concrete promises of a plan B.
Well, I worked on that plan a long time.
But thankfully for all vegetarians out there, McDonald's has turned over a new leaf and announced the arrival of new plant-based burgers to be put on the menu in 2021, the McPlant. Let's just say that after more than 230,000 people signed a petition urging the fast food chain to diversify its menu with plant-based products, the company didn't really have a choice. And when McDonald's finally listened and released the news, people still found a way to make fun of the very unimaginative name choice. But people can laugh all they want. The McPlant is still going to kick butt and take names in the plant-based world. The McPlant selection is going to be crafted exclusively for McDonald's and include burgers, chicken substitutes, and breakfast sandwiches. A little something for everyone. You don't even need to be a vegetarian.
This is a new food for me. How else should I eat it?
These are the most popular items.
I want one.
No.
You might be one of those people who plays it safe when it comes to ordering at McDonald's. You have your own personal order that you can't seem to derive from when you get that freak-out feeling when it's finally your turn at the drive-thru speaker, especially for your breakfast order. Too early in the morning, can't think, so I'll get my usual McMuffin. But have you ever wondered how common your order is? The most popular items on the breakfast menu are probably the ones you already order. Obviously, the classic and delicious McMuffin is, without a doubt, one of the most popular items, and the sausage variety is the favorite of many, blowing the bacon and the ham versions out of the water. Then there are the iconic hotcakes, which are basically a hot, fluffy pancake dream come true. Fun fact, you get real butter when you order those, but fake syrup. Why, McD's? Why? There's also the McMuffin rendition that comes on a bagel to mix things up a bit when you feel like you need a little extra pep in your life. It's the best of both worlds, bagels and breakfast sandwiches. And last but not least, something you most likely order every time and probably get more than one of, the one and only hash brown. You can never go wrong with the classics. And hey, just think, they're popular for a reason, so you might as well stick with your usual order. Chances are you're already getting the best that's out there.
Terrific. You'll be happy to know that I plan to come here every Tuesday night for the foreseeable future.
Some pretty cool items only available internationally.
Be cool.
You probably won't be surprised to hear that McDonald's breakfast menu is not the same everywhere around the world. For instance, in China, there is an egg and cheese burger, which is basically like our Egg McMuffin, but served on hamburger buns, with a light squeeze of ketchup and mayo. In Costa Rica, they can enjoy a full breakfast plate called the McPinto Deluxe, which includes black beans and rice, scrambled eggs, sausage, tortillas, fried plantains, and cremosa natilla, a type of traditional vanilla-flavored sweet custard. Basically, heaven on a plate.
So good.
Another lucky country with a full breakfast on a plate is Turkey with its Turkish breakfast plate that comes with a toasted English muffin, scrambled eggs, and a smorgasbord of lighter fare, including sliced cucumber, olives, cherry tomatoes, and a few cubes of salty cheese. Now, over in Russia, there are rolls with cottage cheese, raisins, and dried apricots, an item which represents the nation's local flavors and completely omits the Western influence, something not seen often in the McWorld. If any of those sound appealing to you, all you have to do is hop on a plane and head down to a McDonald's and you will be served.
We will win this for Mother Russia!
The breakfast menu is still #1 despite the competition.
Bacon, hash browns.
With so many fast food restaurants offering breakfast nowadays, it's hard to keep track of every single one. With popular chains like Taco Bell serving AM fare and Wendy's now in the race as a top breakfast destination, McDonald's has a lot of fierce competition on its plate.
Look at little Goblin Jr. Gonna cry?
While there are many flops out there, like the breakfast selection at Starbucks or the greasy and unhealthy breakfast burgers from Carl's Jr., there are still some pretty threatening and successful attempts that have been made over the years by other fast food giants. Wendy's recent Breakfast Baconator and Frosted-Chino have both seen a lot of success, just like Taco Bell's Tex-Mex-inspired breakfast taco. But this hasn't stopped McDonald's from continuing to be the #1 fast food breakfast destination. McD's is still undoubtedly the tastiest and safest place to go when in search of a yummy breakfast, and they will probably be really hard, if not impossible, to dethrone. After all, if they were to bring back the all-day breakfast, the others would have nothing on them. We've got all-day videos, just tap that screen. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell.